There we go. So I usually just start. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm RaeAnn Miller.
And you are an Anderson athlete, as we know. And I'm Rebecca. I know you and I have met, but for those of them watching after I post this, I'm with CFH Powerlifting. And so I just kind of want to talk for a little bit. I was fortunate enough to be at the meet when you finally broke Bekah's record that I know you were chasing for a very long time. So congratulations on that. And I have a list of questions for you, but I actually have to tell you a story. And I told Kevin this yesterday. Jeff and I obviously talked quite a bit leading up to that meet and then leading up to this interview. And for anybody that doesn't know, Jeff is RaeAnn's husband. He's her handler, her coach, her training partner, her everything. There was a moment after you broke Bekah's record when you got the rack command, and it was after you stood up on the bench and after everybody was done celebrating. It was the moment of that meet for me that just kind of took my breath away. And you're going to laugh and Jeff will understand it because Barry's the same way with me. As you turn to walk away, he just kind of, I don't want to say smacked you on the butt, but he just kind of put his hand on your butt as he walked away. Like, that's my girl. Did he smack it? But it was like, that's my girl. That's my wife. That's my person. That's my human. And for me, it was just, it really was the moment of the meet that kind of took my breath away. And not to take away from your bench, but it was that, Jeff and I had talked a lot. And so I knew how he felt about you. And obviously leading up to that meet, he had been quite sick. It was a very, it was a big moment for me. So it wasn't a big moment for me, but it was the moment of that meet that I was just like, this is why I do this. So anyway, that being said, I really appreciate you sitting down with me today. And I just kind of want to go through and talk about you and your life and powerlifting and everything in general. So I guess I really just want to start with, what do you do in your daily life when you're not powerlifting?
I work full time. I work from home, so that's good. I come kind of a homebody. I have, me and my daughter do things. My sister lives close by. I like to cook. I like to bake. Obviously, I have a big husband, so
I have one of those too, and so I get it. So with the powerlifting portion, and this is a question that was actually asked to me by my husband. It was something he brought up, and I brought it up when I did my interview with Dina as well. And those that know you, know that Bekah was a big influence for you. But most men grew up watching The World's Strongest Man and the Arnold and things like that, and there were magazines for men on every shelf. Like that's where they were introduced to strength. Where were you introduced to strength? Like, when was that moment for you that you decided that you wanted to be strong?
There never was. I watched, bodybuilding on TV when I was younger, and strongman, of course, because that's my love. Right. And actually, physique wise, Jeff's he watched big wrestling, and China was kind of, she's a big woman. She looked great.
Right.
But he was always the lifter. When I first met him, it was, I go to the gym 3 times a week, take it or leave it. This is what I do. You can join me.
Right.
But don't talk to him. But
right.
So when then I first went in there, I was able to do, 100 pounds rather easily for quite a few reps. So it was just a gradual thing. Mm-hmm. You kind of get addicted to it.
Right. Yeah.
And,
it's either in your blood or it's not. Yeah.
Right. So it was just a continual thing
Right.
that I just, and then you get goals and it's like, oh, I can do that. I can do that.
Right. So when was your first meet, and was it raw or equipped? I have a hair on my shoulder that keeps poking in the face. Sorry.
It was equipped, and it was in 2002. There really was no, back then, there was no raw. I
Right.
mean, people lifted, but there was really no specific raw equipped people. Everybody
Right.
I knew did equipped.
Right. Right. So, well, and this was actually something I asked Kevin yesterday, and he wasn't real sure because he said it was before before his time. How long have you been an Anderson athlete?
2014, after I won the Olympia.
Okay. And for you, what was that moment like when Ken Anderson came to you and said, hey, I want to sponsor you? What was that like for you?
It was kind of relief because I've been doing it for a while, but I'm kind of quiet. So
You don't say.
So I mean, it was a relief. I finally got picked up by someone.
Mhm.
And friend of mine that I trained with, I actually did the Olympia in his hand-me-down katana, Tom Schmidt. And so it was just a relief that I had someone finally to sponsor me. So I had some good equipment.
And it's funny that you say that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You actually, one of the other questions that I wanted to ask you, because again, it was something that Kevin and I talked about yesterday. I know that there was a period, where you had struggled with trying to figure out what shirt worked, and an equipment struggle, for a lack of better words. How do you train through that? How do you mentally not get frustrated and just kind of, I mean, obviously you have a goal, but how do you just mentally continue to train through that and try to figure out? Because I mean, most all of us are, I'm not an equipped lifter, but I am an equipped handler. And so I see that frustration and I understand it. How do you train through that? How do you not just burn the bench shirts and say I'm done?
I am very particular, actually. I like my shirt a certain way. I don't like it handled too much. But so it does get frustrating because I'm kind of particular when it comes to my shirt. If it's not where I want, me and Jeff go back and forth. He goes, just put more weight on. Just put more weight on.
Right.
And it's never lifting it. It's always, of course, when you're using equipped, it's touching. So that was my biggest thing. I've always felt more comfortable in a single ply because it's a little bit more, you can touch a little bit easier. It's a little less
more forgiving.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 10 years and how do you, I guess, how do you feel about the sport and its progression with female lifters right now?
Well, in 10 years, I'd hope to be on a mountain by myself and my dogs and my husband.
We're going to be about 100 miles away, but on the same mountain.
Well, obviously, I'll probably retire. That's 10 years. I've been doing it for 20, so that's a lot of years.
Right.
I would say I still enjoy lifting. I would hope I would. It was always something that me and Jeff did together.
Right.
It was our outlet.
Right. How do you feel about the sport and its progression, especially for female lifters right now?
I think it's wonderful. A lot of times we don't get the acknowledgement that we should, because I mean, we do train just as hard as the men do.
Sometimes harder
because we have to, deal with them.
Right.
And
which is exactly why I'm doing these interviews. And then, down the road, I do want to interview men as well, but no, I agree with you. I don't think that women get nearly the acknowledgement that they deserve in this sport. So, and I have to ask, when you finally broke Bekah's record, what was that for you personally? Other than
That was,
relief, I guess.
yes, that was a relief. I think it was a bigger relief than, getting my, 500, because I've been chasing it for so long. I probably have the record for the most 500, completed 500, just trying to get to that 600, that so
Right,
many, 70 pounds or whatever
right.
is quite
Oh yeah.
a lot, and I've been just, tore my tricep and I tore my knee and I messed, I don't know what I did to my thumb. I tore something in my thumb at one time, but it was just going throughout, struggling through the pains, and like my shoulder's recurring injury. So it's just a relief that I did it. And thank God. I was the first one that do it.
Right, right. And I know Bekah has been one of your biggest supporters through the whole hashtag chasing Bekah. I so I it was another thing that actually that Jeff had done when he made the post of finally the hashtag is chasing RaeAnn. Like that was another one of those moments where I was like, like I just, I love this guy. So it was, so after that, shortly after Jeff had posted, what you had done at the meet and everything, and you had made a post about just kind of the struggle that you've had to maintain the heavier body weight, and how hard that's kind of been on you physically. So what are you doing now, or what is your plan or goal, or what do you want to do now?
I would like to drop weight. I'd like to be around 198 to compete at.
Mhm.
It's kind of difficult to get down there.
It's an age thing too.
It is. And I like food. And I'm not very strict on my diet. And I had this guy saying, "Oh, you should be a bodybuilder," Yeah, I don't have to.
Yeah, no, we power lift because we hate cardio and we like to eat like fat kids. So yeah,
100%.
we love cake, we hate cardio. I get it. Do you have any goals set for yourself right now in powerlifting, or are you just kind of continuing to do what you know?
I would like to add some weight on there. Like I said, I want to go back to single ply. I would like to put some more weight on that one.
Mhm.
On the all-time record of that. So I
Right.
have it at 534.
535.
530. Yes, for the kilograms, yes. So I would like to probably go back to single ply. I enjoy that.
I know that you've trained through a lot of difficulties in life. And we don't have to go into a lot of specifics, but one of the biggest difficulties I would assume would be when Jeff was so sick. And I don't want to say that that was the biggest difficulty, but I know that that had to have been a very difficult time for you. How do you mentally prepare for, I mean, you were preparing for a huge meet, and your husband first, but also your training partner, coach, handler. How do you continue with that? How do you mentally keep yourself there?
Lifting has always been a what's the word I want? Outlet, but more of a stress relief or
Gotcha.
counselor type thing.
Gotcha.
Bad things happen and
right.
Don't have control over it.
Right.
So it kind of keeps my mind focused just to lift.
Makes sense.
I control the, what's in the gym, what I lift. But yeah, it was a struggle when Jeff wasn't there.
I'm sure. So we talked about your career. Do you have any hobbies other than powerlifting? Is there anything that you enjoy doing other than mowing the grass? Because
I love my yard work.
I actually do too, and I'm not allowed to do it right now because I've been so sick.
If it's quiet. um, I like I said, I like to cook and bake a lot. I love my dog. I play with my dog all the time. So,
Gotcha.
but because we were going to be trainers
Mhm.
and breeders, but that didn't go the way we wanted to.
Um,
But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm pretty much homebody and stay to myself, so I'm kind of quiet.
we
Hmm.
are there
Oh, yes, and then I do read a lot. Probably, probably more than Jeff would like me to do. So
okay,
what do
then
you?
who are some of your favorite authors?
Um, I like Sarah J. Maas. I like the fantasy.
Mhm.
Um, Harry Potter. That's actually who got me started reading. We used to
Yes.
read to the kids. So, like in school, I never read, but when
Right.
the kids when they were small, we read all the Harry Potter. So that kind of
Yeah.
started reading that.
And who are some of the powerlifters that you look up to, respect, some of your favorites, both male and female?
Well, of course, Bekah. I mean, we wouldn't be here.
I guess I
We
should have
wouldn't
said
be here
outside
without
of Becca.
her. A lot of that I trained with Joe Doherty and Paul Childress. Those are older ones. I actually I before I Kara Bohegan,
Mhm.
um, bench press Barbie.
Yes.
She actually was a big influence. And Allison and Shauna, got our
Right.
old folks that stick together.
Well, our little group of old ladies is, I
Yeah,
know we're not really old ladies yet, but we're
but we did good because everybody who was at the meet was we all did really well.
y'all
Us
did.
40
Y'all
women.
did. And y'all made me so proud. Like I was like so excited for all of you guys. And so I mean, first and foremost, I appreciate you guys just giving us the opportunity to have you guys on our platform. Like uh, for me, that's the honor. Like that somebody wants to lift on my platform is like, really? She wants to lift in our meet? Like, how awesome is that? So thank you for that.
I thought it was awesome just because I mean, I go to meets, and nothing against, people starting out, good for them. But when you don't have anybody to compete against, you only have yourself.
Right, right.
It was good. It was nice to have a lot of strong women together.
I actually the night, so it was actually Friday night, when I was sitting down doing the flights. I got so excited. It was probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. I text Rob and I'm like, you have to answer your phone. He was like, it's like 1 o'clock. I was like, you have to answer your phone. He's like, what? I was like, we have enough women signed up that we can have a flight of just women. Like we were both so excited that we had so many women show up. And like that seems to be the trend right now. Like we can give women their own platform, and again, this isn't, us versus them, men versus women, but we're seeing a trend of more women wanting to compete. For you, for the bench only portion, how was that for you to know that that stage for that period of time belonged to the women? That was
I,
y'all's spotlight.
yes, I thought it was wonderful. I mean, we all cheered each other on, so it was good.
Right,
I like that part of powerlifting. Sometimes we get away from that.
right,
Um, but us women, I think we stuck to that. We stuck together and cheering each other on, and come on, let's go.
right, right.
And,
And I would
there
assume,
was no egos.
right. I would assume having the warm up area for yourselves as well probably makes a difference in preparing for like when it's just a female flight. Does it make it easier in the warm up room as well, in the warm up area?
I kind of go into my own little thing, so it doesn't really, probably because, I've been lifting so long with
Right.
men. I just go
Right.
into my own little thing.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, like on my last lift, I had Shauna screaming at me, get this lift. And, she came here to, bench with me.
Right.
And, after that, I kind of, you had to do it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, she and I had talked just a few weeks before that. My husband actually sat in and judged for her so that she could, bench. And so he was like a kid at Christmas. He's like, I get to like judge for all of these women, like look at so it was a very exciting day for us as well. So I mean, again, thank you guys so much for lifting on our platform. Like,
Our pleasure.
all right, so this next question that I have, it's probably going to have Jeff answer because you're going to be like, I don't know, but I know,
I don't.
I know how shy you are. So I'm not gonna call you out, but I know there got to be some really fun facts about you. So tell us a fun fact about you.
Jeez.
I don't know. I'm just very quiet. I kind of laid back, and I don't really.
She never played a sport in high school. Not once. No.
See, there you go.
Yeah. Oh no, I never did.
No. She was, even though being kind of a tomboy and everything, but
I was daddy's girl. And he always made us do weird things. Like he was a Marine, so we were doing like chin-ups and weird push-ups, one-handed or just weird stuff.
Well, see, there you go. I knew there was a fun fact out there. Is there any advice that you is there anything you can offer to other women in this sport, as far as we had talked about lifting through challenges and challenging situations? And I know for you, it's kind of a stress relief type, but is there anything that you can offer or tell other women to help them? Things get rough, life gets hard. We aren't just lifters. We're moms, we're wives, we have jobs. And we've said it, we lift just as, or we have to work just as hard and sometimes harder than the men. Is there any advice you can give them when it comes to putting their lifting, making their lifting a priority as well?
Yeah, it's hard because at one time I didn't make it a priority. I mean, I did, I went to Strongman Nationals one year, and I did fairly well. It was my first one. And then, but the following year, it always conflicted with my son's football thing. So, and he came first, so we always did that. But as I got older, you just have to make it a priority. You have to just say, this is what I have to do at this time.
Right.
Regardless, is very difficult.
Well, yeah. And as women, we don't ever put ourselves first.
No, we don't.
We don't. So
can I add something to that? Is that
absolutely, you can come on screen. We like you. Come on.
Everybody likes Jeff.
We love Jeff.
She's kind of downplaying the struggle thing. She missed 2 weeks of the gym. I don't even think it was 2 weeks. I think it was a week after our son passed away. And the next Sunday, she was back in the gym. And that was the thing that I think helped her cope through it, because that and, her family. But
right,
she put all that effort into chasing this thing for all those years, So I just, you can't tell her story without saying that.
And just with all due respect, I just wanted you to know, I didn't want to bring up the death of your son because it wasn't my place. So Jeff, I really appreciate you bringing that up, because I actually did want to touch on the effort that she put into chasing that record, and the fact that it wasn't just your illness that she went through chasing that record. There was a lot of difficulty in her life that she went through. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
She lost her son, her father, and her mother within a few years, and just kept pressing on. And that speaks of her character, because that could crush people. And, so that's her story.
Yes, I agree. And most people it would crush.
So that's her story. She's a tough chick. She's a great mom. She's a great wife. And just, we're almost at the end of this thing. I don't know what we're gonna do after this.
We're gonna go visit her in Texas.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Come on. She's got a pretty good husband too. We got to give credit. He's
I give him all of the credit.
Well, she used to be my camera person. I was powerlifter. She used to run the camcorder for all of us, and she'd go and get me stuff that I needed. The first time she put on a bench shirt, she put on a denim bench shirt. We put like 150 on the bar. She took it down maybe 4 inches and said, "This is the stupidest effing thing I've ever done in my life." So we've come a long way from that day. Let's just
a little bit, yeah.
Well, it was denim. I mean, nobody wants to wear denim. That was a horrible shirt to put me in.
Yeah.
Well, the sport's definitely come a long way from the old denim.
It definitely has.
Yes. So, well, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. The only thing else I just want to say, one more thing. I do want to say your resilience is something that amazes me, daily. And I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I'm also honored, beyond honored, that you would sit down and do this interview with me, because I do know how shy you are. So thank you for doing that. I'm going to tell you a really funny story that will make you laugh hysterically. So when we first kind of built our gym and we're building our team down here, I went to my husband's work one day, and I told him, I said, "Hey, listen, I have a friend that I talk to on Facebook all the time." I was like, obviously we've never met. We live in different states, but I have a friend that I talk to all the time about my lifting and just life in general. I would like for her to kind of be a part of our team, just somebody that can offer us advice or help if we have questions and stuff like that. And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely." He's like, we'll introduce it to the group and the team and make sure they're okay with it. He said, "What's her name?" And I was like, Bekah. I said, "I know her first name's Bekah, but I only remember that because it's the same as mine." And he's like, "Okay, what do you know what her last name is?" And I was like, "Well, hold on, let me look." And so I looked and I was like, "Oh, Swanson. It's Bekah Swanson." His jaw hit the floor. He's like, "Honey, do you know who that is?" And I've told Bekah this story as well. He goes, "Honey, do you know who that is?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's my friend on Facebook that I talk to all the time." He was like, "Sweetheart, that's like the strongest woman in history." I was like, "Oh." He's like, "Do you remember the documentary that we watched?" And was it Dina? I told this story to as well last week. Sure. I told Dina the same story, but I had to tell you because of, Bekah has been such a big part and so supportive of all this. But I told Bekah the same story and she was like, I just love you. And it's so funny because, she and I don't get to talk very often because, let's face it, she's always traveling somewhere. But, huh?
Somebody needs spanked somewhere.
Stop. He's being mean.
Not being mean.
Anyway, we have this really odd connection because I can be having the worst day in the world. And all of a sudden I'll just look down at my phone and there'll just be a message that just says, "I effing love you," out of nowhere. And that's That's just the kind of person that she is, you know, for me anyway. But yeah, I had no idea. I mean, she was just my friend that I talked to on Facebook. Like, yeah, I know who she is. She's my friend
Yeah,
on
I've had
Facebook.
those experiences. Who was it? Chuck Vogelpool.
Oh, see,
His we were in York.
No. We were in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, we were in Columbus, Ohio, and I was doing a meet. They had pictures, banners of all of the great lifters, and I was like, Chuck, and I'm looking, I couldn't pronounce his last name, and everybody around me just gave me the dirtiest look, like I had no idea who he was.
right? It's like, how are we supposed to know everybody? Like, y'all
Yeah,
expect us to know everybody.
I wanted to crawl under a rock.
Yeah, I embarrassed Jeff.
Oh, you'll be fine, Jeff.
Moment, but I did it in front of people.
I would have too. Don't worry. If there would have been anybody else present, I still would have done it. So, the last thing I just want to ask is, if you have any advice for younger lifters. I have several teenage female lifters, male and female on our team. And, you know, we have a lot of up and coming young lifters. Is there any advice you have, especially for the girls? If it were your daughter,
Right, I would,
give her?
well, I would make sure she takes the advice, you know, seeks out advice from experienced lifters. You know, there are people out there who'll just tell you crap, and then you're going to end up getting hurt or something, and you'll just struggle and you won't enjoy it. So, you know, seek out people who know what they're doing, who have experience. Lift for yourself, not for breaking this record in this federation or this federation. You know, lift for yourself. You know, your goals that you want to do, and stick to those. You know, you're lifting. Don't pay attention to internet.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to post stuff just because I have Jeff do it, because, you know, you can't get wrapped up in what people are posting.
Right.
Which is hard. Yeah,
You don't need to say anymore. That the whole internet thing, we've had our fair share of the past several weeks. So
right, you know, and women
Yeah.
take the brunt of it. So you kind of just have to say, you know, just do your own thing, lift because you enjoy lifting, and
Right.
screw everybody else.
I like that. I love it. Well, I'm going to let you go enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. And again, I know I've said it 100 times, but and for the people out there that don't know you personally or haven't talked to Jeff as often as I get to, or I truly do know how shy you are, and I really, really, truly appreciate you sitting down and doing this with me. And I look forward to doing it again. And actually, I look forward to seeing you at our next meet. So you and Jeff get to
Well, thank you.
Texas, come lift down here. I'll be back up in PA next year. So we'll see you there, and hopefully we'll see you somewhere in between. But if you guys need anything, you know where to find us. And thanks for sitting down with me, Jeff. Thank you so much for
Thank
helping me
you.
make
Thank
this
you.
happen.
Thank you so
Y'all have-
much.
Anytime. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
You too.
I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.